Memories of France's Nice terror attacks of July evoked as a truck plowed into a crowded Christmas market in central Berlin, killing 12 people and injuring 48 others. Police said that they'd taken one suspect into custody. Another passenger from the truck had died as it crashed into people gathered around the wooden huts at the foot of Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church in the heart of former West Berlin. According to German magazine Die Welt, the truck driver that killed 12 people came from Pakistan as a refugee on the 16th of February 2016. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has condemned what he called an attack, linking it to Islamist terrorists.
I would think it quite likely that it's sponsored by the Islamic State. Don't forget that the Islamic State has been losing physical ground for over a year, and its fabled caliphate is disappearing, crumbling before our eyes. Now, that doesn't mean that the Islamic State is going to disappear. It simply means they're going to go underground, and we'll probably see more, not less, of these long-range terrorist attacks. Basically, the Islamic State is screaming at us, we are still here, we are still powerful, we may be losing on the ground in the middle of the Syrian desert, but worldwide we are still a force to be reckoned with.
My colleague Geeta Mohan still on the phone line with me. Geeta, the fact is the identity of the driver, the truck driver, has now been established as a Pakistani refugee who in fact entered Germany in February this year. A lot of chatter that you're picking up on social media now talking about the immigration policies of Germany, a lot of attacks against Chancellor Angela Merkel as well.
Well, that's right, Paul. I mean, after the dastardly attack that we witnessed in July in Nice, where 86 people were mowed down by a truck, this seems to be the new modus operandi of the Islamic State, of ISIS. And while the authorities have not confirmed this to be a terror attack, it seems like it's the same kind of modus operandi where an individual picks up a truck and then tries to cause maximum damage. And yes, like you're rightly pointing out, Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, could be in a lot of trouble with this latest attack, given that in the past also, with all the attacks that we witnessed in Berlin, in Frankfurt, the certain amount of clashes that we've seen have raised questions on her policies on refugees, and that does not take away from the fact that this could mean a lot of trouble for her. But it certainly looks like the hand of the Islamic State, or an individual who's influenced by the Islamic State, certainly, who carried out this dastardly attack. While there is no confirmation or an official statement on calling this a terror attack, it certainly seems like the Islamic State is at work in ensuring that they continue to send out a message to the Western world, to the European world, regarding their own stand on various issues in terms of taking up the issue of fighting terrorism in West Asia, in the Middle East, and that certainly is not going down too well or boding well for Angela Merkel, who is going to be questioned on her refugee policies. Yet another attack. We saw this in Nice in July in France, where 86 people have died, and now the toll only rising in this case of a truck that mowed down people in the Christmas market in Berlin.
And Geeta, just the modus operandi, you mentioned the Nice terror attacks as well from July earlier this year. It just takes one individual, one truck to ram into a crowded market and cause maximum damage and impact.
Absolutely. And how many psychological tests can you conduct with all those who are entering a country, or for that matter, the ones who are also living inside and within that particular country? In this case, Berlin, in this case, Germany. So is the fact that now they're using the least thought of and safe methods to cause maximum damage, using just one truck and mowing down people, is absolutely something that has not just shaken the world, but also now the world community and countries such as Germany, such as France, that have been facing a refugee crisis, but also growing threat from the Islamic State, have now been started looking at and wondering as to how they can control these acts of terror in their own countries.
Truck plowed into a crowded Christmas market in central Berlin, killing 12 people and injuring 48 others.
We also understand that they recovered a body from the van itself. Now, we're hearing speculation that this may have been related to a kidnapping of this truck. Sorry, I beg your pardon, a hijacking of this truck. Now, the vehicle itself was registered in Poland. The owner of the vehicle, owner of the haulage company, has said that yes, the vehicle was supposed to be here, but described the driver as missing and as also as highly experienced, saying he wouldn't have lost control of this vehicle in such a way. Now, this incident has already been referred to as an act of terror by the United States, saying that it seemed that it looked like an act of terror. The White House issuing their condolences as we try to piece together exactly what happened. Now, these type of incidences we have seen in the past where they've been directly linked to the Islamic State organization. We have seen this happen in France at the same type of Christmas market, whereby a vehicle has been driven into the crowds at that market in order to try and injure and kill people there. And of course it is all too reminiscent of the terrible terrorist attack that took place earlier in this year, in which 80 people were killed in Nice in France after a refrigerator truck was driven into a crowd of people at a Bastille Day fireworks display. So we are trying to find out exactly what happened here in Berlin.
Police have evacuated the Christmas market and sealed it off. Officers armed with assault rifles are now patrolling the area.
And two witnesses of the deadly incident believe it was a deliberate attack, as the truck driver didn't appear to make any attempt to stop.
It happened so fast there was nothing we could do to stop it, and if we tried to stop it we would have been crushed. Definitely looked deliberate. My girlfriend said it appeared that the truck was not stopping. There was no attempt to stop. It was careering in, definitely bashing into the stalls where people would be facing the stalls, and then carried on through. There was no particular police around at the time because everybody was happy. It just carried on through. I think it was stopped by just bits of scenery and truck inside it. So, not truck inside it, sorry, bits of scenery and bits of stalls inside the truck. So it appeared to be stopped just outside the market, having looped through the edge. There was no attempt. When you see a truck, when it's braking, the cab divs down, doesn't it? But when it's not braking, it carries on up. And it didn't look like it was stopping. There was no brake sounds. It was clearly going straight on through. So whether it was a driver who was just drunk and going through, or whether it was lost control of the vehicle, or whether it was a deliberate attempt, I can't tell you. But there was no attempt to stop that we could see. It was definitely...